Hello, howdy, everybody. Sam Goodman from the Hop Nerd LLC and the Hop Nerd Podcast over at www.thehopnerd.com. I released a handy hop planning and deployment guide over on the website. You can find it on the resources page in the blog. I kind of shared it everywhere over there. And I wanted to take a few minutes today to talk about exactly that, planning and deployment of human and organizational performance within your organization. So I'm going to run through the guide a little bit. I'm not going to touch on everything. I'm going to skip around quite a bit and just kind of hit the high points. So if you want more on this, again, go download it. You don't have to give me your email or anything weird like that. It is free. It is yours. Go take it and use it. But let's jump in. So you've started down this path, or you've at least made up your mind that you want to start down this path of human organizational performance. What do you do now? And so one thing that you're going to hear a bunch from hop consultants, hop practitioners, including me, is that hop is not a program to roll out. So we have to start in this right mindset. We can't approach these concepts with that traditional mindset of this is just another program to roll out, because it's not. We're talking about targeting these kind of deeply rooted beliefs within our organization. We're talking about trying to influence the assumptions within our organization to try to bring these things to life within our work world. So you can't just go down this path of thinking this is normal change management. This is just normal safety stuff. And I just need to have A to Z plan, and I'll just follow those steps, plan the work the plan, everything will be fine, and just stick to it. It just doesn't work quite like that. So HOP's not a program to roll out. It's not just another program to manage, but you should have a little bit of a plan, because if you don't, it's going to be full chaos. If you don't, you're not going to bring together the right elements at the right time to make sure that this stuff happens really efficiently and effectively within your organization. So it's kind of in the middle, right? You should have a plan, but the plan shouldn't be so rigid or formal that you can't embrace some of the chaos that makes this stuff extra special, right? You should have a plan, but you shouldn't stick to it no matter what. You should check and adjust and feel your way through some of this stuff to really get the most bang for your buck. So you want to make a cake, right? If you're trying to bake a cake, you need the right ingredients. You don't want to be going for a cake and then all of a sudden end up with a fruit tart. Like, nobody likes tarts. Like, that's the stuff that people put in cases to make you want to buy the cake more, because everyone's like, ooh, I don't want a tart. Back to like ingredients, timing, all those things. Those are all things that you should be thinking about. With that, I like to start here with some of these planning considerations. Organizational readiness. Where are you at as compared to the principles, the ideas, these kind of concepts that we talk about with human and organizational performance? Guess what? If you're just now starting down this path, don't be surprised that you're not there. Right? I get people that call me like panicking, like, oh my goodness, I don't know why we blame people. It's like, because you're normal. That's pretty normal, right? That's pretty normal for industry. It's pretty normal for a lot of organizations. Don't let that scare you. You're moving in the right direction. So you just need to know where you're at. Where am I at so I can determine the next steps that I need to take? From there, if you're just starting at the very beginning, after assessing this organizational readiness, I like to focus on core team creation. So who are your internal champions? Who are the folks that really get this, that have a passion for this within your organization? What's that little army look like? So who are your leaders in that space? I bet that you have some folks up high in your organization that once they get a taste of this, or they've already gotten a taste of this, they like it. They want this. They want to champion this. So look for those sponsors, those key allies, all the way down to those tactical folks that go out and have these conversations in your organization. These folks that go out and start doing learning teams and micro experimenting. You need that little group of champions to help spread this far and wide within your organization. And guess what? If you're in a position to where you're not ready to take this across the board within your organization, if you're starting with the bright spots, start with those bright spots in that little group, right? So if it's a segment of your business, if it's a particular unit of your business that you're focusing on, you'll find those champions in every part of your work world. So just, you have to seek them out, get them together, resource them correctly, give them the time, the resources, and things that they need to really focus on this and help you with it. Employee involvement. You don't want to lose sight of the fact that you need to be listening and learning from your employees right out of the gate. So what are you going to do to ensure that your employees have a voice in this, that they have a little bit of a hand on the steering wheel, right? That their voice can be heard and that it shines through in the end result that you're going for here. Another piece of this is external resources. So as the old saying goes, sometimes it's hard to be a prophet in your own land. Sometimes you need to bring in some folks from the outside to either be that prophet, to support you through this, folks that can help guide you through this and kind of consult with you, or be that kind of trusted resource, that trusted partner in helping you bring these concepts to life within your work world. I'm always happy to do that. There are a ton of great folks out there to help you. So again, there's just a ton. You probably know them. I know them. I would love to be that person for you, but if it's not me, there's tons and tons of other folks that I can recommend to you as well. Next up on our list is kind of this framework, these kind of ideas that Andrea Baker shared, and I really, really appreciate that. I've cited her in this resource. She did this over in an article on safetydifferently.com, and tons of amazing resources over there as well, where she kind of talks about these 5 phases of human and organizational performance integration, and I really appreciate these 5 phases that she shared. And it's this idea of starting with leadership interest, building hot fluency, operational learning, alignment, and safeguards management. So when we're talking leadership interest, it's exactly that. It's getting kind of support and leadership from, support, resources, all that stuff from leaders up within your organization. So the way that I've seen this work best is almost a mentoring arrangement. You're trying to build those relationships with strategic leaders. You're mentoring those leaders, especially through the challenges, like when things aren't working, like when you start down this path and then you have some catastrophic event occur, not to kind of mentor them through that so they don't just quickly turn back to the old ways. Teaching them, those folks, HOP concepts and being available to them, to answer questions, to spend time with them, to walk them through this, making the case for this change. And as I mentioned, possibly bringing in outside folks to hear that message, not just from you. You know this. Most of you that are following along, most of you that I spend time with are safety practitioners or HOP practitioners. You know how this goes. You can say it 1,000 times, but until they hear it from someone that doesn't work directly within their chain of their organization, of their leadership chain, they're like, okay, yeah, sure. And as soon as they hear it from someone external, they're like, oh, that's a great idea. We should do that. So there is some value there. There is some value into just having someone come in and share that message with those leaders across your organization. Building hop fluency. And the way that I like to think about this is you're trying to get your organization to where it's speaking hop, and you can hear the difference. You can hear the difference as your organization continues to mature. So we accomplish this a lot of times through hop fundamentals, right? These kind of hop fundamental sessions, these full on, here are the concepts, here are the principles, that kind of stuff. But even through information sharing sessions, these kind of open sessions, these kind of quick hit and run sessions, also teaching the use of learning teams and learning explorations. We're really focusing on shifting our organizational messaging, all that stuff, this kind of holistic hop fluency thing, getting folks to where they're speaking the language of human and organizational performance. And you'll notice that, right? You'll start to notice that people begin to speak differently. You start hearing different words. You start hearing different focus areas. Instead of hearing stuff just in a really basic example, instead of hearing folks say, well, if that ever fails, you hear folks purposefully shift to saying, well, when that fails, we're going to be ready. Big difference, right? Huge, huge difference. The next piece of this is operational learning, and that's where you're starting to embrace tools like learning teams and learning explorations, and you're going out and trying to learn on purpose about everyday normal work. The next phase in this is alignment. And what I've found to be really powerful with alignment, and it takes a certain level of maturity. This is where we begin to make human and organizational performance sustainable within our organizations. This is where we actually begin to change the physical things within our work worlds, the processes, the procedures, the stuff that's on paper. Our rules begin to change. All that begins to change. I've seen this in organizations where even that wacky values poster that you see on the wall, it kind of gets torn down and rebuilt because now we're a hop-based organization. This is just the way we do business now. And we start to build it into all of our processes, all of our systems. We start to get rid of the stuff that is counter to those principles, to counter to these ideas, that just stuff that just doesn't work. and we drag everything into this space. So this is kind of that decluttering point. This is that building in sustainability. This is everything in our organization being evolved to kind of start with just a tinge, just looking through the lens of human and organizational performance. Then we found ourselves into this continued focus on the meaningful, this safeguards management piece. And with all of these concepts, all of these ideas deeply embedded within our organization, we're now focused on the bettering of safeguards and life-saving controls within our organization, looking for their presence, ensuring that they're there, ensuring that they're functioning, and constantly trying to find areas where they're just not there, where they're just not working, where they're just not functioning. So we're using learning teams, we're using learning explorations, we're seeking this kind of to continuously and collaboratively design better safeguards, better controls, and to manage those things just a little bit better. And this is kind of what it looks like on the roadmap as we go through this. So that's all I've got. I wanted to share with you some of these ideas, some of this framework. If you'd like to learn more about it, if you'd like to spend some time with me talking about this stuff, please head over to the website, www.thehopnerd.com. You can get into contact. You can also send a little request to get some time on the calendar. If you want to talk about doing some of this stuff within your organization, bringing human and organizational performance to life within your work world, I would love to partner with you to help make that happen. So again, head over to the website. I would love to be a part of your human and organizational performance journey.